It's time. Ooh, ooh. Yeah. Ooh, ooh. All right. Time for the mix layer. Welcome to the mix layer. That's too bright, huh? I was like, hold on. Something wrong with the atmosphere. That's better, it's just a little lamp. Maybe put another lamp. Get another one of those fancy USB lamps going on. It's got a USB, powers phones, tablets, and more. The USB lamps? What does USB mean? Universal Serial Bus? Is that what it is? That's what I think it is. That's what I think it is. I took an introduction to computers course once. And they had all the terms and the glossary of all the technology. And it showed you what the acronyms were. Similar to if you take a psychology class and they have the health part. And they tell you about the health machines. The magnetic resonance imaging scanner. MRI. You'll never be the same when you learn what MRI stands for. It'll change your life. Yeah, I had to go in that. I'm claustrophobic, and I had to go in that claustrophobic thing once at the hospital. And I was in the claustrophobic thing. And the nurse guy was like, "Are you claustrophobic?" And I was like, "Well, I got to do this anyway, so does it really matter if I'm claustrophobic? Are you afraid that I'm going to freak out in here?" Go, "Ah!" And just start, just fucking, right? And then at this one hospital, they looked at my insides. They had these flash things, and they were like, took scans of my insides last year. I was like, wow. Oh, they have more advanced, more invasive tech that can look at your organs and stuff. Like, it can just scan your body. I mean, I guess you have to put on special gel or something, so it picks it up. So there's other ways of looking at your body besides MRIs and PET scans. So I don't know what different kind of scans they are, but I would imagine that scans just get better and better over time. That technology evolves, and so one day it'll just be like Star Trek, like when they have Miles O'Brien, Cole Meany, and he breaks his hand playing racquetball, and then he goes, "Hey doc, I broke my hand," and then she's like, "Doo," and it like just repairs his atoms, and he's like, "What?" Just like new. Looks like I can get back to my game. Huh. Like the magical medical technology of Star Trek. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. At the urologist, though, because I had, you know, some prostate problems, and I went into the doctor, and I went to the bathroom before, and there was a guy grabbing his balls, and he was like, ah, ah. And he was like grabbing his balls in there. I was like, damn, he must have something really wrong with his balls. Sounds pretty painful, man. He's like, ah. It was like some old redneck guy. He must have had something going on with his balls, or his crotch, or his penis, or something. Something was up. It was, said, shit. Whatever that guy has, I don't want that. Maybe he had an STD. Uh-oh. Maybe he was being nasty. He got a nasty bug. He got a sexually transmitted disease. Another acronym solved. Yeah. Well, if you don't have really much of a sex life, then you have to worry. You can worry about STDs and AIDS less. Yeah. So some people are like, oh, you're an incel if you have a lack of a sex life, but you have a lack of an STD life too, as well. You have less chance of getting AIDS, and less genital warts chance. So I don't know. Maybe sometimes there's some times where you're like, well, I'm glad I don't have a great sex life, I guess. This is actually biologically advantageous. Because if I did have a thriving sex life, then you might be like, ah, my balls. I got barnacles on my balls. Like that guy. They have cameras that can go up your penis. But I made the mistake that I was out with my guy friends, and I said, yeah, I went to the urologist. And then this guy Brent was like, oh, how's that? And I was like, well, they have this camera that can go up your pee-pee hole. And he was like, yikes. That was his reaction, yikes. I was like, oh, did I do TMI? Too much information? Yeah, I probably shouldn't have told him that there's a camera that can go up your penis. Probably should have told him. Up your pee-pee hole. Yeah. Up your purple painted, what is it called? Purple-headed one-eyed monster, whatever that old song was. The purple-headed one-eyed people eater. Yeah. Well, at least I didn't tell him there was a camera that could go up your butthole. So he might not have enjoyed. I might have not used. Well, hopefully we weren't eating. Hopefully we're at the pub or something. Hopefully we were a bit tipsy at the pub, at the Irish pub. No, I was amazed. I was like, they got a camera that can go in your penis? I was like, dang. Live from your penis. From the inside of your penis. Yeah, there it is. So live from New York, live from your penis. Or what if it was live from Uranus? Astronauts have just found your butthole. Live from Uranus. Yeah, so it's like the whole medical, world and all that. Whole medicine and all that stuff. Yeah. It's an interesting world in that medicine place. Hospitals and doctors' offices and all that. Doctor, can you look at my butthole one more time? I already did once. Yeah, but double check. What was the funniest one was when it was like we went to downtown Houston for the Navy medical exam when we were like 18. I always remember this one. Yeah, the old guy checks all the guys' buttholes. I always remember this because he goes, bend over. It's time to rodeo. No, I'm just joking. No, he said, bend over. And then he goes, spread your cheeks. Spread your cheeks. I remember that one. So to join the U.S. Armed Forces, they need to look at your butthole to make sure there's not something in your butthole or your prostate or something. Making sure you don't have a tumor in there, I guess. I always love that one though. Spread your cheeks. That was always funny to me. Spread your cheeks. It was hilarious because these doctors had before going to the United States Navy were pretty hilarious because they were all like super old. They were like ancient. They were fucking like 95 years old. I don't even know why they were still working. I guess they still got paid pretty good or whatever. Some people just work longer because it's like they have a feeling. Yeah, I know some guys out there, they want to work longer because they think if they stop, then they're going to die or something. They're going to pass away right then. Yeah. Or some people have enough money and have enough accolades for 3 or 4 retirements. Some guys do. And they're still like, oh man, I'm still going to go get a job at Walmart. Just because they want to get out of the house. They don't just want to watch movies all the time. But I was like, man, you worked your ass off to get to here, to become a grandfather and make all this money, and you got like great grandkids and stuff. Why don't you just enjoy yourself? Watch TV, watch all the movies. Why don't you just, watch all the movies, write a book, read books, just hang out. It sounds fun, like barbecue, just chill. What about that? And then, but a lot of these guys are like, well, if I sit around the house, I'm gonna fucking pass away. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you do pass away faster, or would you pass away faster working at the Sack and Save? I thought you would pass away faster working at Sack and Save, to be honest. Like the stress of society, and you're already old. I don't know. Maybe it's different strokes for different folks. To me, chilling sounds badass. Just fucking chilling all the time. That sounds great. George Carlin said a guy sitting at home scratching his balls. At least he's not out there fucking up anything. So. Oh. You know, George Carlin. You know, I like a guy that's just sitting on his ass all day, scratching his balls, not doing shit. At least he's not out there fucking up everything. I thought about that line in the monologue. Not to take it as a kind of religion or something like that, like the dude, like the big Lebowski, like doing nothing. But it is kind of like, Because what old men tell younger men is go out there and pound the pavement, boy, and go out there and work your ass off, get 3 jobs, pay for the Social Security for my retirement. They're always like, get out there and bust your ass out there. As if working hard was the same thing as working smart, which it's not the same thing. You can give it your all and still lose it all, you know. You can give it all to society and society can just not give a fucking shit. That's perfectly possible. Especially now. What? It's like Amazon just laid off 16,000 people. And then UPS is about to lay off 30,000. Obviously, corporate America hasn't given a shit about fucking people in fucking, I don't know, 40, 50 years. And with AI and robotics, do we think they give a fuck about people now? So I think, I guess when I was a really good worker drone, a really good corporate worker drone, I'd look at people trying to avoid work and I'd kind of scowl at them like, look at those lazy bastards. Why aren't they giving this company their all? Like, why aren't they stepping up? Why aren't they busting their butts? Like, why aren't they loading more shit? Like, why aren't they fucking giving a fuck? You know, I used to look at them with kind of like an evil eye. But only now at the end, young Skywalker, do you understand? So, but now I kind of understand it now. Now I can understand, like, the guy who's 50 and he's kind of burnt out and he's at the fucking Sack and Save and he's like, fuck, I'm getting paid $8 an hour and he kind of doesn't give a shit. Now I kind of get it. Now I kind of like, oh, okay, I kind of understand why these people are avoiding, you know, if you're your whole life in corporate America or retail or something and you're like, oh my God, like, how the fuck do I get out of this, you know? Financial slavery is the final slavery of mankind, basically, besides mental slavery or intellectual slavery. So ideological slavery. But financial slavery is a big one because that, you know, directly affects people's lives. So, do I blame Trump and the Republicans for the acceleration of automation? No, I really don't blame politicians for it. It was kind of, as Thanos would say, inevitable. It was inevitable that corporate America, that big tech would lay off so many people. It was inevitable that they would use robots and artificial intelligence and get rid of human beings. It was just fucking a matter of time. And everybody knew it was coming. And if people are thinking it's shocking when it happens in the next 3 to 5 years, they're just insane. You know, they haven't been keeping up with things. So I myself am not shocked by it. Now, the people that are shocked, okay, the people that are shocked by it are the people that have given their entire lives to Amazon and UPS, and they've given their blood, their hustle, they've worked their asses off, and they've been working so hard and hard. And I guess that's the tragedy of the American worker. That's the tragedy of the American dream, is that Americans aren't really fucking lazy. They're not. It's not that Americans don't work hard. It's just they're not given a fair return for their labor. They're not given any fucking money. They're not given a slice. They're not being given a big enough slice of the pie for their labor. And that's been the story for at least the last 40, 50 years. So that's the tragedy of America, is that people believed if they gave it all to the system, that the system would pay them back. And man, my God, it fucking hasn't. It's paying them back with unemployment and misery and low wages. That's how it's paid, or no health care. That's how the fucking system is treating the American worker that believes, that wakes up early in the morning to go to work and sits through traffic every day. That's how the system is rewarding the people working so hard, by giving them a big, fat, stiff, red, white, and blue dick up their ass, like George Carlin used to say. Now, it used to not be that way. Maybe past my birth time, 45 years ago, almost 46 years ago, maybe before that, maybe my fathers and mothers and aunts and uncles and maybe my grandparents, maybe it paid to work really hard and hustle back in those days. Maybe they got paid a lot and they got pensions and they got fucking overtime and they got fucking healthcare plans, and maybe it was fucking worth it to bust your ass. Not anymore. So that kind of way of life for my baby boomer parents and their parents and my aunts and uncles is that those days are over, folks. And I'm not saying it. I'm like Charles Bukowski, and I'm like, don't try, don't give a shit. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, choose how you give a shit now. Make choices how you're going to give a shit in the future. So don't put your faith. I would rather put my faith in God than I would in man or government or corporate America or global corporate systems or whatever. Hey, at least Jesus Christ, you get something back, right? Eternal life in heaven. So that's a good bargain. But the rest of it ain't fucking worth a piece of papers it's printed on. Speaking of the big hubba, money. Yeah, Texas two-step tomorrow is $1.375 million. Yeah. Yeah, I had this friend that he wouldn't work really hard at his jobs. And he really didn't want to work hard. And I was kind of like, why is he not committing? Like, yeah. I know he's not swimming in pussy like Tiger Woods and $1 million deals, but it's like, why is he not? He's avoiding like the hard, like the gritty work. Like, he's kind of avoiding jobs that you have to get in the dirt. And I was kind of thinking, why is that guy avoiding work itself? Like, he's avoiding like lifting things, being sweaty, being dirty. Like, he's avoiding the nitty gritty of work. And I was thinking, is he just a pussy? Is he just a coward? Is he just a bitch? Like, why is this guy spending his whole life avoiding hard work? You know, hard work in the right cause. It's not a bad gig. It really is. You know, a lot of people, they frown upon hard work, but it's really in its purest form. It's really its essence is pure and essential. But so many people are avoiding this thing called hard work. I've seen so many people do it, and not just because of low wages. That's a big part of it. No health care, no benefits. I've seen people not give a fucking shit, but it's like so many people just avoiding the grit of the work, like the hard back-breaking work, like, it's astounding. So you're avoiding even trying the grit for, just try it on. Try doing some labor, or something. Move some shit. Like, see how it feels. Does it suit you? Do you like it? Or what? So, it's kind of bizarre. But maybe I understand it a little bit. Not just because I watched American Beauty or Office Space or Fight Club or something back in the day, but I guess the movies in the late 90s were getting kind of like anti-work even back then, early 2000s. Kind of like screw work, screw the system, screw corporate America, screw this shit. The Matrix and so on. So I kind of understand where that kind of psychology is coming from in pop culture and in, working corporate culture. And, you had Dilbert and so on. But like, yeah. And you can tell that Vicky doesn't want her to go to school.
So she's going to
Daycare or kindergarten?
No,
Yeah.
is she going to go?
She wants to be picking her up.
Or is she 4 and going to go to preschool?
Yeah, she might be going to preschool start soon. But she wants to go pick, and it has to go to kindergarten. Yeah. But she's going crazy because she wants to go. She doesn't want her growing up. Yeah, while I was grilling today. Yeah, where she's like, well, who's gonna pick her up after school? And what are y'all working? And you can tell that she really fears not being able to have her. You know? So I know that's gonna be not the death of her, but that's when she's gonna go into full boredom mode. Mom, I could already see that happening. Yeah.
2 years old or 3 years old or 4?
Well, I think she's finally going to school now.
She's either starting preschool
Or she's already in kindergarten.
No.
Yeah.
This coming September.
Yeah. Yeah.
Preschool is when you're 4
Uh,
and you go a couple of hours or
Yeah.
something. But you go at a daycare, I think.
oh, okay.
I think. And
Yeah.
then kindergarten you start at
At school. Yeah, the public school, yeah.
and you go well, it used to be half the day when you went.
Yeah.
It was morning or afternoon.
Oh, okay.
It used to be when you went to school.
Yeah.
I don't know
If it's the whole day now.
or like from 8 to 2 or 3.
Oh, yeah,
and then
yeah.
daycare. I don't know. I still don't think kindergarten is an all day thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Down. Gonna mix it up. Oh. Ooh. Yeah. Well, I guess, I've always been pro work and pro commerce, but I mean, just like, retail does suck donkey balls, though. Yeah, it does, really. So that I guess that's the differentiation, is that retail sucks donkey balls. And then, but if you get a career, if you become a mechanical engineer or something, you're probably gonna have a better time, a better life, a higher paying wage, more options, financial freedom, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know how many jobs artificial intelligence and robotics will actually take over from mankind, and when the shit's gonna hit the fan, as it were. So we'll see. I guess the shit's already hitting the fan. I couldn't blame a Democrat or a Republican Party for that. Voters might, if they lose their job at Amazon, or they lose their job at UPS, 30,000 people, 16,000 people here, 30,000 people here. Microsoft lays off 12,000, and then it's, on and on and on. It might be that the public might get so pissed that they just keep, voting people out. And, but really it's the corporations, really it's the elites that are to blame. Like, Bill Gates and Peter Thiel and Jeff Bezos and those fucking cats, whoever's, the elites that run these companies are really the guys to blame. But yeah, interesting scenario. Yeah, I've heard about UBI, Universal Basic Income. But the thing about it is, like, really, people are going to get paid just to chill? Like, I just don't really... As robots do all the work and the artificial intelligence, and then people just get paid not riot and blow up shit, and not become John Connor and blow up Datadyne, Cyberdyne. A little far fetched, but like people get paid not to blow up Google or something, you know. It seems a little far fetched, really, honestly. Isn't Google Alphabet Corporation? Isn't that like Cyberdyne Systems in Terminator? More basically, that's what it is in real life. So society is going to try to pay John Connor to stay home and jack off to Facebook meta porn, so he's not so pissed, instead of blowing up Cyberdyne. So Meta Facebook Platforms is going to pay John Connor and Sarah Connor to sit around and jack off and have no future, while instead of blowing up the machine. That's fascinating. They're hoping that the bread and circuses of the metaverse, the metaverse, will, by Mark of the Beast Zuckerberg, will keep people enslaved in the virtual verse or whatever long enough so they don't realize their slavery, their neo-tech feudal slavery. Oh. It takes a lot of work to get real titties in your face as a man. It takes kind of a bit of, you gotta have a job, you gotta have a car, you gotta work real hard to get some tits in your face, man. It takes a lot of effort, right? To get some titates up there. But if you're like Strange Days, Ralph Fiennes and Angela Bassett, man, if you're in that virtual verse, bro, if you're in that metaverse by Mark of the Beast Zuckerberg, and all you gotta do is just jack in. You can be seeing titties all the time. You know, the girls get paid to show their titties. You don't have to actually ask them out. You don't have to do any kind of, you don't have to risk any rejection to see some tits. It's right there, man. You just jack in. You just link into the fucking matrix. You're in, bro. You're in the free jack. You're in the jack mode. If you want to get a high. Yeah, some girls will get paid, some Japanese, 10 Japanese girls will get paid to get butt naked. And you'll just jack into the virtual verse, and there you go. Your fantasy will be happening. Man, I've always wanted 10 Japanese girls butt naked, and you can just jack into the matrix, man. They'll have that shit. They have that Neuralink connected by Elon Musk. They get that Neuralink in your brain, you can be fucking flying on that shit. Yeah. Mescaline, it's the only way to fly. Follow the white rabbit. Time to wake up, Neo. It is just safer to take the pills and go back to sleep, to the reality, right? Instead of challenging it. Yeah. Just take your pills and go to sleep. Take the blue pill, Neo. I don't think men ever wanted pornography. And hear me out. I know that might sound weird in the world of Playboy and perverts and Tiger Woods and booty stanking and guys fucking maids and get mail order brides and strip clubs. I know that might sound like really bizarre to say that. But hear me out. Men never really wanted pornography. Pornography took over men. Okay, like it like pornography infected men. Men did not choose pornography. What they wanted was love. Okay, and then society said, "Well, you're not a millionaire. Go fuck yourself." And then men said, "Okay, well, I guess there's porn." Okay, that's basically what happened. It wasn't like there wasn't good men out there. It was just society said, "Oh, you're not a millionaire. You're not 6'6". You don't got 6 figures. You're not over 6 feet. You don't got a 6-inch dick. So go fuck yourself." That's what society said. That's what women said. And so guys were like, "Well, what am I gonna do?" Well, look at all this. Oh my God, there's a video of 10 blondes jumping around butt naked. I'm just gonna I'm gonna pull the fucking button then. That's what happened, dude. So the birth rate went what? Yeah, so it used to be what? The birth rate in Western countries and around the world used to be two children per couple. And now it's dropping to 1.6. Some catastrophic. Some are like negative growth, like South Korea, even worse. That place is a disaster. But also fat and ugly ladies thought they could get Bradley Coopers. You know, so fat and ugly chicks thought that they were entitled to Bradley Coopers. They're like, well, I must have a man that at least makes $400,000 a year. I'm entitled to this kind of lifestyle. So that's also what happened. You know, the women were like, okay, well, you know, it wasn't just that the wages declined and the dollar declined and the debt increased and there was forever wars and all this other shit. But the women also fucked it up too because they were like, well, I'm just 90% of women, even the fat and the ugly ones, were going after 10% of the highest achieving, the highest earning men. So birth rate went. They were no longer chasing the Fred Flintstones. They were now only interested in the Bradley Coopers, even the fat and ugly ones, even the ones that didn't deserve the fucking hottest guys, still wanted the hottest guys and still wanted the richest guys. So regular guys of the working class were left with a really stark choice. Okay, jerk it off and go into the metaverse and go strange days and look at the 10 Japanese girls and pull the pud, or you can marry an ugly or fat chick that's rejected. So you could just marry a fat and ugly chick or retarded chick because you just had to. Or you could just stay single and keep your dignity, which that's what I chose to do. So, as a poor boy from a poor family, I choose dignity over trying to marry a fat ugly chick. That's a lot better. It's a lot better to keep your dignity, I think, ultimately speaking. Or at least I don't have to wake up to a cow and be like, well, I got a kid. But oh man, I married a cow though. Yeah, at least I don't have that. I don't have the money of Bill Maher. But at least, I can have a few drinks and I don't have it. Right? Bill Maher's like, well, he's got a girlfriend. He's a multimillionaire. But he's not married. And it's like, kind of enjoying his life and shit. Maybe there's no kid. He's kind of having a good time. Yeah. Bill Maher. I guess that's another kind of topic here. What do I think of him? I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say because he doesn't really. He's not full of shit like Jimmy Kimmel. He's not like he doesn't have Trump derangement syndrome, but he's not exactly like a MAGA either. So it's kind of like kind of interesting character to characterize in terms of political and views because he's like a classical liberal who's like conservative. So it's kind of weird to class. It's hard to classify like classical liberals from the Clintonian era and from the John F. Kennedy school of liberalism and Democrats, and then kind of translate that into now. It's very difficult to reconcile the conservative nature of the old Democrat Party. So, yeah, I guess that is kind of bizarre to do that, to try to characterize classical liberals that seem more conservative than today's Democrats is kind of a bizarre thing to observe and to comment on, I would say. I think I love that podcast where he's just like sitting around getting drunk and shit. I think it's a pretty raw, kind of honest podcast. I kind of like Bill Maher. I'm not really, I don't know what network TV does to a guy. What corporate America, I've seen what corporate America does to men and what corporate America does to guys, but, it is what it is. And it could maybe do that to anyone, to be honest. Kind of bull ass a bit beyond bull assery. So we're gonna go now. Okay. Are we gonna get the brewski? Like the brewski there. It's time for the. I had to drain the wizard. Just gotta do this before. Alright. Let's bestow the accoutrement. Yeah, let it see. Right. Huh? Yeah, I'm leaving right now. I heard it before.
So maybe you get 5 or 6 cars, load them up with trash, and drive slow, and all the rats follow, and you drive them over to your rival's city, and leave the rest as their hybrid. How do rats get in cars? I think this is an attack on people's cars.
Hey, don't worry, I'll be back too, lady. Don't even fret. I said I'll be back too, lady. Too lady was worried. Don't worry, too lady, I'll be back, twos. Don't worry, Teddy Graham, I'll be back. Teddy Graham. Yeah. Damn. Wow. That's all I start rooting for. We can get the beer and the lotto. Ooh. Yeah, we're not going tomorrow night. We're going tonight, so we can get the some tickets to the 1.375. And it really cleared out. Usually somebody tries to ninja it up in here, but I haven't seen that in a while. Hey, how's it going? Hello. Damn. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much, sir. Have a good night. So, anyways, okay, so we accomplished mission. All right, we got the brewski. Still a little bit of liquor left, so the joke in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie is a skeleton walks into a bar. He orders a beer and a mop, and then that was the one with Sir Paul McCartney from the Beatles. That was an epic one because it had Johnny Depp in it, and so they should do what do you have here available in this establishment? And then he should say, like, one of the pirates should say, poker in the front, liquor in the back. They should do some silly ones, huh? Like the skeleton and the mop one. Did I hear that before the Pirates? I might have heard that one before. That's an old one. I like those old stupid jokes that are retarded like that. Yeah. man. I gotta take a dump. Mm-hmm. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh. Chilly out. Yeah, just chilly out there. Whew. Just gotta put my beer right here because I need to take a dump. Ooh. All that walking makes me want to poop. Want to poo poo. Oh, thanks. Oh, yeah. Well, I try to be a good cook, you know, but
I don't mean to bother you or anything.
Yeah.
But I remember when you had no clue how to grill. I think you were afraid of the grill.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's so funny.
Yeah. I used to be afraid of everything. Yeah. No, I remember still slicing up your pans when I was like 20, and making the chicken
With the metal.
with the metal. I remember slicing up your pans.
Scratching them up.
Yeah.
The Teflon. And I was
I-
like, stop!
The only thing I could cook was some toast and maybe some eggs and some sausage. Yeah. I don't even know how to cook that, though. Taking a dump. Taking a shit. You can tell by the way I walk, I need to shit tonight. Okay, what? No. Taking a shit. No. Taking a shit. Taking a shit. That's not the Bee Gees. That's like the doo-doos. Oh, yeah, we're taking a pretty rough shit. I don't know what's up, but this kind of cold made me, I don't know, it gave me like constipation, fool. So I'm not usually a guy who has constipation, so I don't know, maybe all these frigid temperatures gave me constipation. And I've never really been a guy known for constipation, but I think we might be in a constipated experience. So forgive me with the constipation. Ooh. Well, I took a big shit. Oh. Man, I don't know. That's pretty legendary on that. Alright, whew. I'm gonna have to clean my toilet like tomorrow. Damn, dude. Rip that shit up, right? Alright, yeah. Yeah. All right, we just took a dookie. All right, we're back. We just dropped the ordnance thingy in the toilet. No. Taking a shit. There's what's going. All right. the shit, taking the shit. Taking the shit. And get way back from it. Thanks for putting my beer up. Oh. Oh, yeah. That'd be great. It's pretty hot. What's up?
I gotta sneeze again.
Uh-oh. Bless you. I'm sitting down to smoke in the office. You got it?
Yeah.
Alright, bless you.
Can you use the microphone to that cabinet?
I'm just gonna line it up right here.
Okay.
No worries.
Because
I'm not gonna steal the script though.
no, I have that crappy butter,
Yeah.
but the other one died.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna take it that way. Yeah, no problem. I think this should be good. Okay, there you go. There you go. I'm sorry to get so easy.
It was in the 80s and the early 90s. Happy hour, 5 to 7.
Yeah.
60, 70, or 70,
Yeah. Yeah. Got the brewski, tobacco. Brewski, tobacco. Brewski, tobacco. Yeah, it was like it was really fun when we were young drinking beer though, because we just like back in the day it was so fun just putting on CDs and drinking beer with my buddy. I know things will never be that carefree again, but it is kind of fun. It is kind of fun when you're real young and things are real carefree. Don't have to worry about stuff as much. You still have to worry about stuff, but like not in the adult way. Yeah, it was so fun like on a weekend drinking beer with the bros and playing some music, having a good time. I know people try to recreate that their entire lives. They try to recreate listening to Tool and drinking beer, like when they were 16, but it doesn't quite translate to 56. aunt could finally, in Arkansas, make it to Walmart. Finally, they could get through the ice. And my aunt, she braved the roads finally to get out of the winter storm Fern to get to Walmart. And so I'm glad that my relatives in Arkansas will finally be able to get out of the winter storm Fern and drive around safely. Will not be snowed in or iced in or. But old man winter ain't done with us. There's a chill coming in. Old man winter. Got another freeze coming in. A little bit, just for a few days in Texas. Of course, the Northeast is dealing with the nor'easter. I didn't stay in D.C. or Boston or New York, New Jersey. I didn't stay up there in Maine for the real shit. I never had an experience of winter in the Northeast. So, my friend told me about it, though. My friend from Texas who grew up in Texas like me, he told me, Scott, I'm in Boston experiencing a winter. It's like we're snowed in. It's like, this sucks. I'm in Texas saying, no, I don't know what you're talking about, but sounds bad. I didn't know what he was talking about because, maybe one time in Houston, Texas, I remember the boys and I were playing football, and when we were like in middle school, and there was a little snow flurry that happened, and then we were like, "Oh, it's snowing!" That's like it's not real. It's not like a big snow winter storm. It's like stuff that evaporates on your tongue. It's not really. I mean, yeah, things get frigid and it snows down a little bit of flakes, but it's not really anything. It's not like getting snowed in by a blizzard or by a nor'easter or something up there in Boston or Maine, New York, New Jersey, that kind of thing. So that's why Texans were so caught off guard by Winter Storm Uri in 2021 because a real Arctic storm came all the way down to Texas and blanketed us with snow. And we had never really experienced anything like that in our entire lives, being mainly, if you stuck around the South in Texas. Definitely not as far as Houston. Most of the state was covered in this terrible winter storm with big snowpacks. And yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. I had never built snowmen before. I made little snowmen and never ever experienced like anything like that until 2021. That was the year. And so, Winter Storm Uri, and it took out the Texas ERCOT power grid, and the grid went down. I didn't even urge my mom to start the chicken and dumplings early that Sunday night. I thought, oh, well, we have time. And Monday, we still had power before the grid went down. And she started cooking up the chicken and getting it ready, seasoned and everything in the morning. And we still had power. We were like, all right, well, maybe we can complete the chicken and dumplings. And then sure enough, the power went out and the chicken was barely cooked. And so we had to throw it in the trash. Still remember that, throwing the chicken in the trash. And the last major event, storm-wise, that we had wasn't a winter storm. It was Hurricane Harvey, which set Houston underwater. And yeah. I think it was called Winter Storm Uri of 21. Was it called Uri? Was it called Winter Storm Yeti? I think it was called Uri. Y-U-R-I. Winter Storm Uri. That was a cold motherfucking one. Happened in February 2021. So, yeah, a lot of Texans are worried about another winter storm coming down from the Arctic. A major, massive storm. I know our whole lives they're warning us about global warming and climate change. Some atmosphere. So it wasn't surprising 5 years later, before Winter Storm Fern, that a lot of Texans were, quote unquote, overreacting towards this gigantic Winter Storm Fern freeze, believing it could take down ERCOT, I believe the three power grids in the United States of America are ERCOT, the Texas grid. Then there's something called the Eastern Connection, and then there's the Western Connection. I think it's called the Eastern Connection and the Western Connection. And then the power grid for Texas is called ERCOT. climate change, global warming. We had some of the most epic winter storms down in the South than we've ever had in the whole history of the South. So is that global warming? Is that climate change? It doesn't seem that way to me. Sounds like a scam, like Donald Trump would say. Sounds like a scam. It sounds like a scam, like a business scam from the Chinese communists. It sounds like a scam, like a business scam. Well, it used to be called global warming. And back when I was growing up in school, they would talk about global warming all the time on the news and in class. Global warming, CO2 emissions would destroy humanity. Greenhouse gases, we'd become like Venus, and we'd become so hot through the CO2 emissions that we'd become trapped. Like Venus, it would become so hot. And then they changed it to climate change. I guess because in Orwellian newspeak, you change the language, you're able to change, apparently, thoughts. If you could change the language, if you could change the words of people's language, then theoretically you could change their thoughts. So I guess that was the plan by the elites, by the liberal global world order, to change global warming into climate change, which I think is a massive scam. Yeah, I don't think it's a real thing. It doesn't mean that doesn't mean that I don't believe that there are carbon emissions that affect global weather patterns or the atmosphere. It doesn't mean that I don't believe in that. It's just I don't believe that the solution to Earth's environmental issues is to buy Chinese communist wind turbines, solar panels, and the like. Wind turbines, solar panels. Yeah. How do you know that it's a business scam? Well, you know it's a scam if you have to buy from China green energy components that are only produced and manufactured in China. Then you know that it's a global business scam. Then that's kind of the telltale sign of it. Now, if solar panels were produced in America or Europe, maybe I wouldn't be so suspicious. If wind turbines were specifically created in America or Europe or one of the Western allies, I wouldn't be so suspicious. But since most of these things are manufactured in China by the Chinese Communist Party, well, then you know it's a business scam. It's a bullshit. So I don't deny that carbon emissions that they affect the weather, or that we shouldn't regulate or observe scientifically carbon emissions or hydrocarbon emissions. But we should analyze who benefits, cui bono. Who benefits, cui bono. That's the old Latin phrase for who benefits. We should analyze what countries and what companies benefit from a climate change, energy, climate crisis scare. Well, there's only one country that directly benefits from that. That's the Chinese communists. So Do I believe that if people burn coal and hydrocarbons and natural gas and oil and so on, do I believe that through carbon emissions, petroleum, and internal combustion engines, do I believe that this carbon will lead to Earth becoming Venus? I don't fucking think so. Not in this, not in 10 years, not in 100 years, not in fucking 3,000 years. But the Earth's climate is a complex thing. It's not just based on human activity. The Earth's climate is based on, well, if you look at history, there's the Ice Age, there's the Temperate Age, there's the Hot Age. There's different ages of the Earth. They're usually based on the Earth's position relative to its spin on the axis relative to the sun. So there'll be an Ice Age when the Earth is the farthest away from the sun. There will be a temperate age when it's a little bit closer. There'll be a warming age when it's a little bit closer. So all of Earth's ages are dependent on its spin and its position to the sun, the host star. So this idea that human activity directly affects planet Earth is almost total bullshit. Then why would there be an ice age? Why would there be a warm age? Why would there be? Because it depended on how close or far away Earth was from the sun. Now that's rarely talked about in the alarmist leftist media. It's not that I believe that human beings have no impact, that we have no impact at all on the Earth and its future and the gases. But I don't think we're that important to affect the future of this planet. It is arrogant to think that human beings, no matter how powerful we become, are capable of becoming as powerful to influence weather on our own world and that of the entire solar system. That is arrogant. That is stupid. I don't think that's true. I'm in the George Carlin camp. Save the bees, save the trees. The Earth has existed for 4.6 billion years. It can't repair itself. It doesn't reproduce itself. It doesn't survive all the ages that it has existed, and it can't survive mankind. Mankind is so great a threat that life, they wiped out the dinosaurs. Why can't they wipe out us too? It's not feasible that we are so amazing that the Earth is in peril. I doubt that. I highly doubt that, in fact. I'm not saying that life isn't important or humans are not important. I don't think we're that important to affect the future of the world. I mean, unless people start going into nuclear bombs and doing nuclear winter and bombing each other, which is highly unlikely because no one wants to destroy their own future. I mean, at least I think they don't. You're just playing fucking games. Just playing fucking games. Playing games with people's lives, but playing games nonetheless. If you really wanted to fucking throw down, if the Chinese or the Russians or Americans wanted to dominate the world, they would have they would have started dropping those nukes like in World War II and bombing the fuck out of motherfuckers. You know the reason why they're not doing it? Is they care about their mother, they care about their brother, they care about their sister, they care about their sons and daughters, I think. That's why they're not doing it. Because it would be foolhardy to do so. So, maybe there would be a Western leader or a Russian Federation leader or a Chinese leader that fucking drops a nuke and rolls the fucking dice in human civilization. Maybe there's a mad motherfucker that actually does that shit, but nobody is that fucking mad. Nobody. In China, Russia, America, Europe, nobody is that fucking crazy, I think, because it hasn't happened yet. They might change the nuclear clock to 90 minutes to midnight, 30 minutes to midnight, but you'd have to be a mad motherfucker to doom your own people to hell. There's no way this is going to happen unless somebody is that crazy. And most people, most leaders in the world aren't that fucking nuts. To survive that long in the American system or a Chinese communist system or a Russian Federation system or any kind of authoritarian human government, the only way you can survive is by making some kind of rational decisions. So, the world and its people are just thinking, why are you fucking around with our lives like this? Jacking off, dancing around. You know? Why are they fucking around with their lives like this? Like it's a fucking joke. And life might be a fucking joke, but it's not to be toyed with. So, if any world leader drops a nuclear weapon on another power, it's the end of human civilization as we know it, and they all know it. And oh my God, they all know it. So they better not fuck around. So what we have ain't for sale. It never will be. It's time to take our lives and those of mankind seriously and with reverence and brethrenship. It is time. As much as you love your sweetheart, as much as you love your cat, it's time to love everybody like that. It's time to do that. It's time for our leadership, for the elites to love everybody just as much as they do their dog. Because otherwise we're in for hell. We need everybody to love, every world leader in the world to love everybody as much as they do their daughter or their son. Or we are fucking foobarred. But, well, that's up to the leaders and the elites in the world. But as us workers and people, our job is to show our leaders the way and to make them pay or not by not expressing the will of the people. Now, thank God in America we can still vote and we can still shape our destiny. And maybe people in Europe can't anymore. I know people in Russian Federation cannot affect their destiny. They have one authoritarian ruler. I know people in China cannot affect their destiny because they have one communist Chinese central control system. There's no way. They're robots. They're insects. You're right. They have no rights. They have no say. If their government, if there's a plague going around, they just seal them up to die. Like they did in COVID-19 Wuhan. I know that is true, but we can fight back slice by slice. We can fight back people by people, nation by nation. Venezuela, Iran. We could fight back. We could liberate country after country until the world is faced that it has to gain liberty. It has to gain freedom for everyone, every people, all people. No one left behind. No one left out, like Bill Hicks. No one left behind. No one left out. And we could explore space, inner and outer, with love and peace. We could take all those weapons, take all that money we spend on weapons and destruction and shit, and we could use it to fund mankind's exploration, health, well-being, and exploration of outer space, inner and outer, forever. God bless. Amen. Like Bill Hicks once said in his monologue. So, what is the choice here? We either go to catastrophic war or we make peace. I think the goal of the West, we should overthrow Venezuela, overthrow Iran and the mullahs and the ayatollahs. We dismantle America's enemies. We unite Korea. We destroy the North Koreans in the axis of evil and destroy them from the inside out. Surround China, the communist foe of eternal death. Russian Federation, they're already fucked. Their people are going to rebel against them tomorrow. We have no. What we do is, as Westerners, we create the Atlantic American Alliance, European Alliance, and a great Western unity. Stand up for Western values. We create the great European American state of all American allies and liberty. Venezuela, the Americas, Central America, Europe, Australia, the Philippines, Japan. All our allies will join together to stop this gravest threat to America and all people in the world and their liberty, which is the Chinese Communist Party. All right, I'm not drinking coffee. All right, done. Great. Oh, what? Are you okay? What? About what? Are you okay? Oh, on TV and the news? I'm sorry. You know what? Yeah.
Born in the USA.
I would, yeah.
He lived on that.
Yeah.
He didn't live. He
Oh, yeah.
prospered.
Yeah.
And now he's
Selling out. Yes. Yeah.
he's a
I
man.
know. People are pissed off. Yeah.
He's a loser.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Oh. I know people are sad about the sellouts of America. Like Mark Carney of Canada and so on.
Can I come in?
Well, not right now.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll play it later. Yeah, no problem.
Oh, I don't want to hear that crap.
Oh no! I'll play it soon. Just give me like 10.
No, I don't want to play no bull.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. I'll let you in like 20.
He's screwed.
Yeah, I'll let you in
I
some.
don't like him no more.
Okay. Mark Carney is the global banker, the current leader of Canada. A sellout to the Chinese Communist Party, just like Justin Trudeau. Mark Carney is a traitor to Western civilization. What a fucking sellout traitor. Keir Starmer is a pig traitor. We have traitors in our midst, folks. And they're pretty evident. They're vocal. They're out there. Mark Carney of Canada is a traitor and a banker and a thug. A sellout to the Chinese Communist Party. It will come down to this. Those that will rebel against the Chinese Communist Party and Mao Zedong and all his evil principles, and those that sell their souls and the people's lives for it. The Canadian truckers knew that their lives were being sold out. But American citizens will not be sold out to the Chinese Communist Party. Western civilization will not be sold out to the fucking Chinese Communist Party. We don't believe in communism. We don't believe in Mao Zedong. That is not our master in this world. It never will be. Yeah. So, Canadians, my brethren, You don't want this sell out to the Chinese. Keir Starmer, that fat fucking Orwellian pig. We will start with the liberation of Venezuela. We will gain Iranian independence. They will speak Farsi. They will become Persia again. One day, North Korea will be liberated, and there will be a united Korea for Koreans, free Koreans, and all the peninsula of Korea. There'll be a new UK, the United Korea. We will not be harassed by Chinese communists. We will not tolerate this. Not now, not ever. Liberty and freedom will be the stake for all men and women in the world. And we will emerge victorious in that holy, God-loving struggle for freedom globally for all men and women. Not just Western civilization, but all civilizations will taste the joy of liberty one day. Step by step, piece by piece, nation by nation, people by people. Women will have the freedom to wear their hair however they like. People will have the ability to speak, the freedom of their religion, the freedom to petition the government, the freedom of a free press, and the right to assembly. So help us God. All will have liberty and freedom eventually, even the poor and the meek and the weak, the middle class, the working class. All classes will have freedom, and all will gain and share in His holy glory one day. It is a long twilight struggle for man in our history to gain independence from the tyranny of communism and socialism. But we will obtain it one day through a long struggle of history by men and women willing to sacrifice to engender its glorious Constitution. We shall liberate all men and all mankind from slavery of all kinds. Men and women and children will rise to defend this world in glorious heroism, step by step and piece by piece. Conquer one day, one battle at a time, one war at a time, until the world is liberated into complete freedom. It'll be complete freedom, complete cooperation, complete liberty. And on these principles, there will be no compromise. As President Ronald Reagan once said, there will be no compromise with these struggles. There will be absolute in the journey. Yeah, I know. The sellouts, the Bruce Stinksteins of the world, the Mark Carneys of the world, they bring people pause. Because they think there are people out there actually willing to trade our freedom for compliance. There are people out there that will trade freedom and liberty for getting along. And that's not good for anyone. Who cares what Bruce Stinkstein thinks? So he made a song about anti-ICE, anti-federal government people defending themselves against. So Bruce Stinkstein wrote a song about people attacking federal agents. We're one United States. I die for those in New York. My aunt is in Maine. You die for me. I'm here in Texas. I die for you, even though you're in New Jersey. You're still my brother and sister. My sister is still in Oregon. We're not different, only in our geographical location. We're not different. The bargain of a country was that you died for me and I died for you, and I work for you and you work for me. That was the bargain. And that's the bargain that I want to uphold, and I will do my best to uphold. But if at any time that this is not the bargain, then it's not good. Okay, so if Californians come into Texas because their state sucks, if it ever went south where it shouldn't be that way. Everybody is part of the United States of America, all states, all 50 states. And all allies of the United States should be united with the United States. It's not negotiable. Everyone should be united with their state. Everybody should be united with their people. I don't go to war with Louisiana because I'm from Texas. We are all one. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. I should not have to go to war against Minnesota or Michigan. Michigan comes to Texas. And Illinoisans come down. My relatives are from Ohio. I'm not going to war, even though many people from Ohio are my relatives in Texas. We're not at war. My family is from Ohio. Cousin Eddie. Grady. Johnny. They're my relatives from Ohio. That's way up there. So my Aunt Pat's from Maine. My cousin Nate is in Nevada. These are all people. And these are all our people. I'm not a Northeastern expert. I just have some family members up there, but I love them nonetheless, whether you're from Maine or New Jersey or New York or Rhode Island or whatever. Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. You're still our people. So that's my people. You're still part of my country. My countrymen and countrywomen. You're still part of my own, you're still part of my family. Oklahoma, Arkansas, Nevada, Maine, New Jersey. We're still Ohio, Iowa. I'm still part of your family. You're still part of mine. It doesn't matter. We're still part of the United States of America. Our family ties run deep. And our family runs away to Europe and to England, to Ireland, Scotland, and to France, and to places beyond. We're still part of a great world, and it's still my family. So at the end of the day, so it's unconstructed to look at us as not being connected. That's impossible. So what we must do is realize that freedom and liberty is at stake, and we must fight for that. That freedom and liberty is the stake, and we must fight and battle for that. But not against each other. Would not like to know it. I don't know all my family from Ohio. I know they're from Ohio. I know Ohio is a Japanese phrase. Ohio Adamas. I know that's a Japanese phrase, but I'm not trying to speak to Japanese listeners. Ohio is from Ohio, but Ohio means hi and welcome in Japanese. But Ohio adamas. Okay, for the Japanese people out there, I'm not trying to confuse you, but Ohio is a state in the United States of America, if you didn't know. That's where my family comes from. So, Bruce Stinkstein, yeah. What the fuck? This guy's been sucking Barack Hussein Obama's penis, and I mean, it's like, dude. Okay, even if you believed in this bullshitter's snake oil, even if you voted for Barack Hussein Obama, why are you kissing his butthole? Man, look, the guy was the greatest fucking bullshitter of all time. Hey, I'm half black. Vote for me, white people. He was the greatest bullshitter out of... Dude, that That was like the devil saying, "Hey, Eve, you want some apple?" That was so good. It was so good. All right. Oh, Barack Hussein Obama was the best because he was like half Kenyan, half white. And then he was like well educated at Yale. And then he's like, "Hey, I'm black man. Blah, you need to vote for me." And then a lot of white people did. You know, it sucked anus. Okay. It sucked anus. So a lot of people, when Barack Hussein Obama was like, "I'm black, white, brr," people were like, "Oh my God, it's a half black dude." And a lot of people voted for him because they thought, "Oh my God, it's a black dude. Whoa." It was novel at the time. And then they were like, "Oh God, this guy hates white people and he hates Christians and he hates fucking America. Oh my God." So then, after 2008, 2012, the Republicans, to be honest, in 2012, they sent the most retarded fucking, the weakest, the lamest ass Republican guy they could have, Mitt Romney. But most of Americans were trying to like, get me out of this half white, half African shit. And so most people like me went to go vote for Mitt Romney. They were like, "Get me the fuck out of this fucking anti-white, fucking Kenyan black shit." And most people were like trying to get me the fuck out of this shit. So we went to go vote for Mitt Romney, not because we wanted to, because we didn't want to vote for Obama, because that was a fucking trap. But somehow Barack Hussein Obama got a second term, and it was awful. So then, yeah, somehow he got through. I think it's because they didn't get a good Republican candidate. I think he would have been a one-term president, but he fucking, "I'm black, or at least half black. I'm African," and then people kind of fell for it twice. And they didn't realize how horrible Barack Hussein Obama was, and they fucking let him, he fucking stole another election. So then they ran Hillary Clinton in 2016, and they thought it was going to be Jeb Bush versus Hillary or something in 2016. George W. Bush's brother versus Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton's wife. And then all of a sudden, it was really wild. This dude called Donald John Trump came, right? It was really wild because this dude came kind of out of nowhere. He fucked up George Bush and Hillary Clinton, and he captured it. Everybody voted for Donald Trump. They were like, "Man, this guy is a fucking real American, dude. Like, this guy's going to solve our problems." And so,
Why are you putting on a hat?
No,
You're not leaving.
I'm not. I know. So, no, I'm gonna get the jams going here soon. Don't worry.
Oh,
No, I will. I will soon, bro. So then, my friend at work said, "I bet Hillary Clinton's gonna win. I bet you $20." But I felt the charisma of Donald Trump, and I was like, nah. I mean, Hillary Clinton. I remember that was an old school thing. From the 1990s. I was like, well, I mean, the Clintons dominated politics in America from like 1992 to 1990 or to 2000. I was like, well, that's kind of old school, in 2015, 2016. I was like, eh. So, so this guy from Oregon or Washington or something, he said, I'm asexual. I was like, what are you, a flower? So, I was kind of like, well, don't you have a sex? You have a penis and balls. Do you have a sex? Well, you're gay or you're ace. And he's like, I'm asexual. And I'm like, are you a flower? Flowers are asexual. So if you're, I was trying to explain to people from Washington and Oregon, like, so are you So you're asexual. You mean you're not, are you bisexual? Are you heterosexual? Are you homosexual? They wouldn't hear that. They're like, I'm asexual. Guy said he was asexual. And I was like, well, I know you're not a flower. A flower is asexual. It doesn't choose its sex. So I was like, okay. I mean, who am I to judge? If you say you're asexual, if you say you're a flower, who am I going to judge you? He said I'm asexual. I was like, asexual? And he's like, there's no way Donald Trump's going to defeat Hillary Clinton. And I'm like, I'll bet you $20. And so November 6th, he came into work and he gave me $20. And I was like, thanks. I appreciate your honesty. So, but, yeah, I respect the asexual guy from Oregon or from Washington coming in and giving me $20 and owning up to it. So I appreciate that. I don't know what asexual is if you're not, what's my sexuality? Well, I think I'm heterosexual because I like chicks. So since I like tits and vagina, I think I'm a heterosexual. I don't think I'm gay. So if you get excited by tits, you're probably not gay. I mean, I imagine that you're not gay. Could you be gay and like naked women? Well, I don't really think you could. I mean, I don't think you'd be gay and be excited by naked girls. I think to be gay, you would have to be excited by naked men. That's what I think being gay. That's what I think the definition of gay would be. But who knows what the definition of gay is? But I think I know what gay is and not gay is. I hope. But so I got my $20 and shit. I didn't really feel good about being right. Does it feel good to be right? Not always. Does it feel good to be right? Now, it doesn't always feel that fulfilling, actually. Sometimes it can feel hollow and empty. Sometimes it's like, oh man, I told you so. But it doesn't feel like you're a hero. It doesn't feel like you won anything. So to me, it was just like, well, I saw that coming a million miles away. I knew Hillary Clinton wasn't going to win. Why? Why didn't I think Hillary Clinton was going to win? That was an old dynasty. In DC, we watched Primary Colors and stuff. I just felt like that was an old 1990s kind of dynasty. I didn't think it would translate into the 2010s, 2020s. I just didn't feel like it would resonate with people. You know, I just didn't think that Clinton's would resonate with people in the 2020s or the 2010s. So I just didn't feel like people would, be into that. So be into a Clintonian dynasty. Now, the Clintonian dynasty from 1992 to 2000, the Republicans and the Democrats worked together to balance a budget, and there was a totally balanced budget. So back in those days, it seemed, but like the Democrats seemed reasonable. And so at that time, it seemed like everything was kosher and the Democrats were cool. And like at that time, it was great. Democrats, the Clintons were great. Like it was like Bubba Bill Clinton. He liked cheeseburgers, he liked pretty women, and he was kind of cool. Like Fleetwood Mac, and he seemed like a really cool dude. And at that time, Americans kind of identify, oh, he likes Fleetwood Mac, oh, he likes cheeseburger. And yeah, he likes pussy a little bit too much, but what guy doesn't like pussy? So it just seemed like everybody was like, oh, the guy's just a dude, he's just one of the boys. And at that time, it just seemed like everybody was like, oh, yeah, he's just one of the boys in the locker room. I love it. The guy likes pussy, likes cheeseburgers, and likes hot chicks and shit. We love this shit, but 2015, 2016, people were like, I don't know if we like this kind of shit anymore. But yeah, I never thought the Clintons could have a ultimate dynasty through different centuries. I never thought that. And I think a lot of American voters never thought that was going to, translate itself through different decades. And maybe Obama and maybe Barack Hussein Obama thought that the Hillary Clinton was going to be his third president. But American people were like, oh, hell no. And so, I mean, for the most part, they were like, fuck that. And I don't know, maybe she cackled, she was in a pantsuit. It was just like, it wasn't a very good campaign for Hillary. It just wasn't very good. But Donald Trump was able to tap into the American working class frustrations. He was able to really do that. And people elected Donald Trump to be the president. And so that was what we did, And